And hello again, and welcome to my garage. And this is this week's shed chat. Now, I was going to do this as a particular project video, but there's been so much going on in the background, I thought I'd cover more than one bike at the same time. So we'll start off with this bike here, my Guzzi Cafe Racer project. And the last time we saw it, I had a problem with the seat. I'd had it upholstered, it looked fantastic, but due to fault on my end, it didn't look right on the bike, it didn't fit quite right. So what's happened is, I've taken the seat back to upholsterer Anthony. I said, look, you know, can you please do X, Y, Z to this particular seat? He said, no, I won't. And instead, he removed the outer vinyl of the seat and said, look, here's the foam on the seat, take it home and mark it with a felt tip pen precisely what you want to do with it, because otherwise I could do what you want, I could recover it, you could bring it back home again and it's still not right. So I thought, yeah, fair enough. And as we speak at the moment, the seat's gone back to Anthony and I should be getting it back sometime next week. And so that's the current situation with the Guzzi here. Well, moving on then, a few days ago I went to see Les at his workshop where he'd got the engine cases and block and various covers back from S in Bingley, all powder coated, of my Kawasaki Z, now 1400cc Mark II engine, which he's going to rebuild for me in the next few months. So I've not seen it yet, so I had to go over there and check it out. So the next video is a bit longer with a bit of a chat about various things, and yeah, so here it is, and you can see those engine cases, which, as I say, have been powder coated satin black. And so here it is. Right, here we are back in your workshop on a very nice day, very hot day.
Yeah, very warm.
Very warm, early June. And what we've got here on your hand is the cases for our Mark II project.
Yes.
Back from S.
Yes.
And they've been powder coated as opposed to
powder coated satin black.
Yes, as opposed to one down here, which is the Z1170, which has been done with ceramic coating.
Yeah.
And I was going to have it done the same way with this one, but the problem with ceramic coating is it's quite thin. It's very thin, which just has good things and pros and cons, but it does show up all the marks, all the casting marks.
Yeah.
In the piece.
This powder coating's settled and smoothed
a lot smoother, yeah. So we went for that instead. So I've not seen it yet, so you can now unwrap it, and it's been done, by the way, in satin black.
Satin black powder coat.
You could have it done in lots, I think, or matte.
Very time consuming,
yeah,
because you've got to mask off all these faces.
Yes.
So there's residue off the masking tape here.
Yes,
it's a special high temperature masking tape, I think they use.
Yeah. So we had the cases done, the sump, the barrels, I think, and also the cam cover. No, not the cam cover.
Are they bolted together?
No.
Sure, so if I put them that.
Yeah, you can see that now.
Look at the front of that.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it?
Beautiful.
It looks a lot smoother than...
Yeah, it looks very factory, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But to get that factory look costs a lot of money.
Yes, because it's a time of prepping the piece before it gets powder coated. And in fact, just here, I've got the bill.
Yes.
Now, what's interesting is, on the bill, actually I didn't realise it's on to read it, I think I've got the... where are we? Let me glasses. The cases for the engine,
yeah,
were 345 quid.
Plus VAT.
Plus VAT.
Yeah.
The
at 20%.
Where are we? The frame, which would have actually been that frame down there.
Yes.
Was only
130
pound.
Yeah.
Which was like 150.
Yeah.
And you would have thought, well, perhaps the frame's a big thing, it might cost you more, but no.
No.
The cases are such a complicated shape and need such a lot of prep work.
Well, bearing in mind, I visually looked for damage on them and there was none, but all the nooks and crannies were full of dirt and oil, and I hadn't had time to clean them when I took them, so they've had to degrease them, clean them, and then obviously blast them and mask them up.
Not finished yet. Also, the sump was £40 to do, and the cylinder head and
the barrel,
that's £100. So altogether,
the head's not been done yet.
No, you can't do that yet. Yeah, it's quite expensive to say the least, but hope it's worth it. And yeah, so S also a great job, so I can't complain about that. And it's not something you want to redo again. So now next step then is to sort out the bottom end, the crank. Needs building up. Oh, hang on, something else yet.
I'm just unwrapping the barrel.
Oh, the barrel, not seen that one yet.
I've not seen the barrel.
Now the barrel's good for me, I don't need to have it rebored or anything, so...
oh Yes,
look.
looks nice.
Yeah, it's Orient Express.
For 1397cc, so
Yeah,
there you go, there it is.
Hang on, let me get my camera moving. Yeah, you spin it around a bit, you can all see it. Yeah, it looks a lot neater than the barrel on the 1170 because it's been panel coated rather than.
There were a few little dings in the fins which are filed and smoothed out before I took it.
Yeah, yeah.
So there is a few little nibbles,
but it's okay.
You know,
it's what
overall it's a great job.
Yeah, yeah. Good stuff.
So
next up then is the bottom end. We need to sort out the crank. It needs to be built up and welded up, which your Jeff can do at some point, God knows when.
I've got two cranks.
Yes.
One's complete standard.
Yes.
For 1,000 engine.
Yes.
For the 1,000 engine you've got off me.
Yes.
And the 1400 crank, I had two cranks. Jeff split them into their separate flywheel components.
Yeah.
And we inspected them all. And on some of the surfaces of the bearing surfaces on the crank, it was pitting because they'd been stood in a damp garage or whatever before we bought them.
Yeah, from Stuart.
So we basically binned what was damaged, what was not usable, and we've got 1.5 cranks, if you like. Yeah, they're in a box under the bench.
Yes, they'll have to go to Jeff's sometime soon.
They've got to go to Jeff's, and obviously then they can be built into
he's
one
right
crank.
Now he's building a crank for his what I call a spares bike, his supercharged bike. It's still on his workbench there. We'll do that first. So yes, that's how things are going at the moment.
Sorry, I walked out of shot.
Yeah, it's okay, there you go. Let's go and get your cup of tea. Yeah, so that's that. That's what's happening now. So back to engines then. If we come over here, it's my lovely engine, and just underneath this bit of old paper here, dun, 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 we have another Kawasaki engine.
Yep.
Now, has this engine been finished in some way, or is it just paint?
That's original finish.
Yeah, yeah.
That's original. There are a few
marks here
and there that need touching up.
Touch up. Yeah, I brought some paint.
You brought me that paint to try out.
Yeah, you can try this paint here. I use that on some other things. So yeah, so that's looking good. You got the bottom end in now, and you got the crank in, con rods in.
There's over £700 in parts.
I can believe it.
In that engine.
I can believe it. Yeah.
Because obviously one of the rods has been changed, and the big end shells.
That's right. Because the rod, which is now hanging up there, was a bit bent.
It was a
banana rod.
Yeah. We think that's been bent for 29 years.
Yeah, and it ran okay without it.
It's been thrashed for 29 years with a bent rod.
Yeah, weird. And of course your chassis is also getting there now. It's almost finished, isn't it?
I've not touched it for months because I've been working.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, your job's kind of a bit of a, what's the word, sort of... Oh, there's the phone. So we'll just wait a second.
Another customer.
Another customer. There you go. Right, okay. After that slight break for your phone call, where were we? Because I can't remember.
Customers.
Yeah, customers. Without them, we'd be all happy.
Yeah, I'll blame Steve.
So pretty much then, we're now just waiting on you having the time to sort this lot out, to move this to my house and that to my house, and finish that. And, but as we're saying, that's right. I was talking about how your work is so seasonal. Summer, absolutely jam-packed with work.
Jam-packed with work.
Winter, nothing. well, not that much anyway.
I always had people with engine problems during the summer.
Yeah.
Say an engine that was burning oil or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'd say, look, it needs a top-end rebuild.
Yeah.
And I'll use the bike until winter.
Yeah, and then we'll do it.
And then I'll do an engine top-end rebuild. And that's the sort of thing I did.
Yes.
And then obviously over the last few years I've got into my restoration work.
Right, yeah.
So there's a lot of people bringing bikes to me for restorations.
That's right, yeah, yeah.
The Norton being one.
Yes, the Norton, yeah.
That I did recently. And I like doing the restoration work because I can work from home.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's it. I think we've seen the engine. Looks great.
Looks fab.
Look forward to seeing that finished. As I said, the time might be to rebuild a crank. I know Jeff's busy. Well, not busy, but
we're in the hands of Jeff now,
and that means we might wait.
On his calendar.
We might wait decades. Who knows?
Well, you said you wanted this bike done for January next year.
Did, but yeah, but that might.
That's optimistic.
A bit optimistic, yeah. But
I mean, I can do the work.
Yes, I know, but we're waiting on other people.
But I'm waiting on other people.
Yes, yeah.
I've got to.
Although to be fair, unlike that project there, which she's had a huge amount of time and money into it, and sort of hassle because the frame's been widened. This one is actually, I've thought through it, it's actually quite simple.
It is.
The frame's standard, the engine's not been messed about with too much.
It's just got a big block on it, that's all. There's nothing exotic
It's already got the swing arm in it. We haven't lost the bloody swing arm pivot. I'm going to get new wheels for it. The body works all at home. I've just got to get the front mudguard repainted at some point.
It's got an adapter sleeve to adapt the ZRX to
Yes.
the
size of the
size of the 16mm
yeah.
original spindle.
Yeah. Whereas that one
Spindle bolt
has been bored out to 20mm and also strengthened and boxed in, so that frame's had a lot more work. But anyway, either way, yeah. So this one here should be pretty damn simple. And then of course it needs new wheels. That's gonna be quite expensive.
Well, you don't need new wheels.
I do need new wheels. I do need new wheels.
You want new wheels.
I keep on changing my mind
There's
about
nothing wrong with them.
3-spoke, 5-spoke, 7-spoke. I keep on changing my mind anyway. Even carbon fibre, but I think perhaps not on that particular bike. Yeah, so that's all going to be quite simple to do, but expensive to do, but that's okay.
It's always the detail that costs the money.
Yes, I know. But having just bought some Pro bolts, I know.
Well, like again,
a handful
put
of
the
Pro
disc
bolts
on this and take these bolts out one at a time and replace them with Pro bolt. But they're expensive.
I know, and I've just bought some for this one.
And that was the plan with this, it was to go round it.
Yeah, but you spread it out over a year, it's not so bad. At least for me anyway.
No. I remember looking at your old video when you unboxed that tank and you didn't realise.
No, it's like, oh.
That was brand spanking new to me.
Yes, back in the day.
And even before I put badges on, I used that wax oil.
Oh, right, to
underneath in all the recesses.
Yes.
And underneath as well.
Yeah.
So it's never rotted, it's perfect.
No.
Apart from one little scratch.
Oh, I know. I even looked inside and thought, oh, it's not even rusty inside, you know.
No,
it's like
I know.
Yeah.
This is why I didn't want you to paint it.
No, I know you didn't. Keep it original. And now I know it's that good. I have been looking around.
You realise what I was on about.
I've been looking around for another Mark II tank that maybe I can do a full paint job on. But
you can buy pattern tanks.
Oh, you can, yeah.
So
from Japan, looking at, by the time it comes here, £1,500 plus, something like that.
Really?
Yeah. This is for the complete.
Tank?
No. That's for the whole. Bodywork.
Body kit
from Japan, yeah. It sounds quite good. It's about £900 when you see it in Japan, but by the time it comes here, import duty, VAT, tax, whatever, it just goes through the roof, you know.
Well, I've just sold you this bike, and then I've realised that the prices of Mark IIs are going through the roof.
Well, I think everything is, isn't it, for the time being?
I think anything classic is.
Anything classic.
You know.
How long it'll stay for, I don't know.
Well, it's only men of a certain age that want these
old men
bikes.
Want them, yeah. And when they all die off, the price will drop.
Of course it will.
I think nostalgia is like a moving wave through time.
Of course it is, yeah.
Little hump. So people who want Z1s now were probably 16 in 1975.
Well, I've said this in the past. There's young kids now buying cheap 125s and 250s, Chinese bikes. But when they're our age,
they'll think, oh, that old bike.
Those bikes will be Coke cans. You know, they won't exist.
Oh, no, they won't
because
exist.
they're not built to last like these old bikes were.
No, I like the old big old.
And they'll struggle to find bikes to restore.
Well, they'll probably end up restoring electric bikes, probably. I don't know.
This is true. Yeah, they'll be rewinding electric motors, not building engines.
Whatever. Anyway, that won't be our problem, I don't think.
Well, no, we'll be long gone.
Right, on that note, we'll end it here and we'll come back in a few weeks' time when we can see progress on the various projects here, including those cases. And now here we are in the back of my garage, and the good news is both the Mark II rolling chassis and the 1170 project arrived home safe and sound, no great problems there. And at the moment I've got it on a pallet stand that I borrowed from Les, that's great. And it's going to be a while before we do anything with this particular project, as I've got so many other things to do at the moment. However, I will remind people who haven't watched any videos about this particular bike before that both the wheels and the shocks will not be making the final build. I'm going to change them to something a bit more upmarket, a bit lighter perhaps. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with that. It's here, put away, out of harm's way, and that's great. And next to me over here is the Z650 frame and with its 1170 motor. I was actually quite excited to get it home because at last I could try out the various parts on the bike. See how the tail section looked with the panel cutting frame and so on. Ditto with the electrics box, make sure that fits okay with new changes and so on. Yeah, it's all good. However, I've still got two problems. The first one's not so bad and the second one is really annoying. But anyway, the first one is a well-known problem, being that we can't find the blooming spindle for swing arm, which is made specially for the bike. Can't go and buy one, it was made specially, so that's not the end of the world. Annoying, but not too bad. But anyway, a few hours ago, I was looking at the bike here, trying out different things, coils and so on, and I thought, we'll fit this beautiful handmade seat to the frame, see how it looks. I'm really happy with it. It's based on a Sanctuary build I saw a picture of online. Showed it to Anthony, the upholsterer, did a fantastic job for me, well pleased with it. Plunged it on the bike, seat doesn't fit anymore. And I thought, what? You know, the mounts didn't line up anymore and nothing seemed to work, it didn't fit as it should do. And I thought, how the hell could that happen? This is handmade to fit the frame, and yet it doesn't fit anymore. So, after a few seconds of confusion, me and Les, who was here at the time, realised what had happened, and it was like, hat down, you know, hands in head, can't believe this has happened. But it had, and the expression never assume, because it'll make an ass out of you and me, is very relevant to this particular problem. It's my fault, I assumed something that I shouldn't, and it's ended up being a big problem. Not a really big problem, but it's going to be an expensive problem, because I'll have to take this back to Anthony, who will go, he won't be very happy about it, and say, look Anthony, please start again, rip it all apart, and just rip it all apart and do it all again. It's not right. So he'll probably think, well, it's my fault as well, so I'll have to pay for that himself. He won't charge me, but I'll say, no, I'll insist I pay for your time, because it's my fault of what's happened. And just for a bit of fun, put in the comments below here if you can work out what's gone wrong with this beautiful seat of mine. It's really well made, perfect, and the base was made to fit the frame, and now it doesn't fit anymore. Not by a little bit, it doesn't fit at all. So see if you can guess what's gone wrong with that particular seat and what I assumed, which turned out to be wrong. Yeah, bit of fun there. Not fun for me, but might be a bit of fun for you, and you'll laugh about it when you know what's happened. Right now I'm not laughing, but I'll probably laugh about it in a week or two. Yeah, so bit of a downer, but the big up is that both bikes are here nice and safe, and we can now continue the final assembly. I can fit the coils, what else can I do? Fit the electrics box and so on, and start to sort out some details. And now a few days have passed. It's now Thursday night. Hopefully it's not too dark in here to see me. But yeah, things have been happening the last few days, so let's just put the cup of tea down and I'll tell you all about it. And first of all, I've got a few things back from Jeff's workshop. I've got the rear bracket all nicely polished now. That's great. Can go on the bike at some point. I've also got the whole outrigger subsystem, if you like, here. Now he's polished this up. It's all loosely bolted together, but I need to take it apart and do something with this inner plate. I'm not going to polish it, because it would be a waste of time, because the chain runs through here, so you can't really clean it and polish it anyway. So I'm going to keep it with a brushed finish. So my task at the moment is just going to take it apart and finish off polishing this edge here, and then, as I say, give this face here a nice satin finish, and also just go over this piece here, this outer plate, which will be polished. Yeah, and then get it on the bike. It still needs a couple of parts that aren't here yet. One of them is the offset sprocket. I'm not quite sure what size to get yet, and the teeth and so on. Once I do know, then I also need to get, or we have to make, a shaft which will extend from the outside of the sprocket into this bearing here. That's the whole point of this particular piece. It supports, it's an outrigger, it supports the outside of the sprocket using this outer plate here. So yeah, that's fine. What I might do in a minute actually is just show you how it looks on the bike. Now that the engine's all nicely blacked out and so on, we can see how it contrasts. Maybe it look rubbish, I don't know. Perhaps I'll decide, hang on, that's too bright, it's too shiny. Let's get the whole thing powder coated or coated in some sort of black hard wearing finish. We'll see. Anyway, so that's that. Also, what's happened today, just around, I got a parcel here from eBay. I think this is what it is anyway. I'm pretty sure it is. And this is something we found on eBay. Yeah. What is this, I hope, wrapped up in here. There's a new inner spindle for the swing arm, which we lost. Now, this is not the final piece, because that spindle was machined, had some work on it to make it work with the different frame. But at least this is a start anyway. And it also includes, as you can see, quite a nice end nut, which we can use, I think. It does actually need, as I say, a bit more work yet, but at least it's a start. And what's really annoying though is that I also need the bearings to go with this to work with swing arm. And we had some old pieces, but they were no good, so I went out and bought a brand new set of bearings for like £47, I think it was, plus P&P. Can I find it? No, it's probably sitting somewhere on a shelf, God knows where, along with the original piece that we made for the swing arm. So I hope I don't have to go and buy another set of bearings, but who knows. But anyway, the hunt is on, trying to find these damn things. That's not bad, a bit of wear there as you expect, but nothing too bad. And that's quite a nice piece there, it's not got any damage to it. So yeah, I can probably use this, as I say, with a little bit of work. So that's also good. What else? Yesterday I went to see the upholsterer, Anthony. I told him about this blooming Z seat, and he sort of rolled his eyes and sort of laughed and said, "Oh my God." But I said, "Look, it's my fault. I'll pay for the whole amount of work to redo this." And sadly, it seems he can't reuse the foam and he can't reuse the outer vinyl, so he's got to start again basically. He's, as usual, he's snowed under with work, but he did say he'll try and get it done for me in the next 2 or 3 weeks. He did, however, say that the seat here for the guzzi that I'm changing to should be ready by tomorrow, Friday. Bad news is I can't go and collect it tomorrow because I'm too busy, so I'll have to wait until sometime next week. Yeah, so that's that. What else is going on? Oh yes. As I say, I've been to Jeff's today to pick up some various bits and bobs, and one thing I've collected here is the front wheel of the Z project, and this has been giving us a hell of a lot of difficulties because this rim came off an Astrolite wheel some time ago, and as we mentioned in the previous video, originally it would have been anodised, but since then it had been painted God knows what, 4 or 5 times, I don't know which. So I gave up trying to do it by hand and I had the rims blasted. But the problem with that is it left quite a dull finish, as you can see here, and there are some pores in it and some little, it's really difficult to get a shine on it. Jeff tried by sticking it on his vertical miller and spinning it up with some wet and dry, but it wasn't really working, it just wasn't working at all. And the reason I brought it here now is because it's now obsolete, it's no longer required. Because, luckily, Jeff being Jeff had a similar wheel to this, with nicely polished rims in his loft. And it actually came off the original comp bike, which I own half of, so it's no problem, mate. Have that back. Luckily the hubs are the same design, they fit straight on, so this now is well, obsolete. So I think I'll hang it on the wall somewhere and leave it there for a few years until we find a use for it. Yes, that's quite good though, that we were lucky, we're very lucky to find that other wheel that we can use. And so while I carry on trying to work out how to mount this down a coil to the frame, I think we'll call it the end of this particular video because it's quite long already, I guess. So anyway, next time you see a video about this bike, it should be a lot further along. I've got the yokes to fit yet, just some work on the front end before it can go on. Yeah, so hopefully we can see it on its wheels before too long. So anyway, that's it for now. So thanks for watching and cheers.